Hi there everybody, it is of course the great and glorious, soon to be famous one day Nick Dutch, back on the camera again one more time for another delightful tarot show on this particular video sharing website's channel. I do tarot readings. A tarot reading is an entertainment service that some people claim to gain some form of therapeutic benefit from, and it should only be treated in a with the attitude that this is entertainment, but people do get reflection from it, they get perspective, insight, and all the rest of that kind of like cool stuff. And that's basically what it's there for, okay? So I'm saying, it's first thing in the morning where I am right now. So try and treat me as like your early morning caffeine injection. And just a quick note for those of you who'd like to be able to get on the phone or get on the internet chat and contact me live. If you're in the United States of America, it's the early morning, which is the best time for you, because I do, in UK time, I do a UK shift in the morning, then I stop and I have myself a brunchy, lunchy thing, then I do an afternoon shift, which is actually the morning shift where you are, if you're in America, being from 7 a.m. till midday, East Coast time, and from 4 a.m. to 9 a.m. West Coast time, roughly speaking. I do vary it just a little, but if you want to, have a cup of coffee whilst you're discussing some of the issues of the day, then basically I am the person to talk to, because that's the kind of like time of day when I am available and all the rest of that. Today we're having a bit of a change, and we're going to be using the Golden Dawn Tarot, basically because I feel like it, okay? No real special reason for that, no symbolic reason. You might say that now we've actually entered autumn, what is the point in having a tarot deck which has got the word dawn in its title? Well, maybe it's a question just to remind you that the sun is still there, still providing us with its warmth even when it's cold and chilly and getting frosty, and you've got the occasional gale here and there. Let's not worry about that too much, especially when you're chilling out and watching the tarot show today. Got a whole load of inquiries up there on the email. I haven't looked at any of them. We go through them one by one. I try and treat this as close to live entertainment as you can get in the form of a recorded internet TV show. And we'll see basically what's coming through there. Alright, let's get on with the first one of today. Okay, Apricus is doing the next right thing and is approaching an individual as far as like inviting them over, spending time together and that kind of stuff. I want to see how he is going to behave under these conditions. Well, let's just have a quick look and see what the reading says about that. Bear with me a second, please. As is traditional, I've been shuffling like crazy. Hope to get a different type of message or type of reading coming out today. Just have a quick look for you. Right, well we do have quite a combination of energies there. I'll just show you the cards one by one so you get a bit of a feeling as to what's happening, and you can see the beautiful designs that we've got on the Golden Dawn Tarot. Alright, we got a progression here, but this is interesting. At a time where it'll feel like there's some kind of negativity in the air, there'll be something positive coming from it. As I've mentioned before, and you can tell by the wings, the Prince of Wands there speaks of the energy of the Archangel Michael, something miraculous happening, something being done for you to bring about a situation that you actually want to occur. Now, essentially, the lightning struck tower speaks of, if not disaster, then some difficulties which will need to be overcome in this particular case. He's not going to be the easiest catch in the whole wide world to be able to get, but despite the fact his mentality and attitude is quite simple, there's still a feeling of there being some good stuff there. Now, if we just refer back to the pip cards, we've got love signs there, looking really rather good and happy and interesting, with a sense of there being some progression, some more victory sensations over there, but with a feeling of building up to a certain level. Also, he's got some big decisions to make about the relationship as well, so one step at a time in that respect. But there is this feeling of there being partnership coming further on down the line. So essentially there's still some potential there, but it's still a bit rocky. Emotionally speaking, I think he's got the right feelings for you. It's just a question of taking the right forms of action, getting the right perspective about what the relationship is about, and that will happen bit by bit. Okay, Armistus Callistus 33 is interested in when the next right relationship is going to come along. Well, we'll just have a quick look and see basically what the reading says about that. Again, referring back to the wonderful and amazing Golden Dawn Tarot. Here we go. Well, one step at a time and see what kind of like vibes is coming through for you today. Bear with me a second, please. Ooh. Okay, I'll show you the cards and we'll see what kind of like message we can get you from this. Bear with me a second, please. Okay, absolutely riddled with love signs. There's things about you and about your future which you're not totally aware of, but will still bring you to the point of being whereby things are going to work out okay. Alright, love signs, sense of balance and harmony, trying to get the balance and perspective right. When you are in the company of someone, You don't always get things totally right, do you? Okay, when you're in communication with them, when you're looking out to try and find out what could actually happen between you and them, you don't always get it right. Don't worry, most of us get it wrong once in a while. But this feeling of there being an individual who's got the right intentions coming around the corner for you is actually looking very good and feeling very good. With a sense of there being some passion, being connected, being bound together. That's what the Devil card can speak of sometimes. It can be a very good card when we're talking about some forms of relationship connections, okay? And with a sense of your principle, the feminine principle, basically being the one which is going to guide and direct. So essentially it does look not too far around the corner, but not too bad. But watch out with your own behavior to make sure you see it in a balanced perspective, okay, and that you are aware of and can pay attention to, alright, the right signs and behaviors that they're giving off, which will make you feel that yes, there is a real relationship which is going to happen here. But generally speaking, could this happen for you within 6 months from today's date? Yes, it could. Alright, it looks very positive. Okay, Purple Pips basically hinted that I should be giving her a Celtic Cross reading today through a method and a style that only Purple Pips can, of course. Do bear in mind, lords, ladies and gentlemen, that I don't do general readings on this service anymore, okay? I just don't do it. You've got to ask me a question. And if you don't ask me a question, I can't always help you. But with Purple Pips, I will just be an absolute angel, and I will give you the Celtic Cross that you're after. Okay. Alright, forces around your character in the here and now. Obviously very air and water orientated. You're a very sensitive individual, very philosophical. I think that sometimes you take yourself a bit too seriously. There's lots of good attributes you've got for other people, but sometimes I feel that you don't feel part of society. You feel alone. But this feeling of being alone, you don't always want to confess to other people that you've got that loneliness there, do you? Okay, a lot of us don't. We often want to say like we're angry or we're hurting. But we don't always want to say we're lonely. There is a feeling of community around you, but you've got to recognize that community is there for you just as you are there for them. And so in that respect, there's still a feeling of there being some kind of cohesion there, but you've got to be able to like really recognize that and really reach out to that particular connection, see how things can go. Things that you're aware of, okay. Prince of Swords, a representation of the Archangel Gabriel, the one who is the messenger of the Most High, speaking about messages and making sure that you can recognize messages. Also, the fact that we've got the Six of Cups underneath there is again speaking about something good coming out of the darkness. You know full well that there are there's opportunities around you. There's something good around you, just impending. Okay, part of this is overlapping with your career side of things. Part of this is overlapping with the fact you're a very creative individual. You want to use your creativity as far as your work is concerned, but also being aware of other people's good intentions towards you. Maybe that's only just dawning with you at the moment as you're starting to awaken to the other possibilities that could be happening in your life and in your future, not too far down the line from now. Reflection upon the past, well, the High Priestess can speak about many things, but also things being revealed to you. And this, it seems to be reiterating the same kind of message, okay? You're becoming more aware of things which have been revealed to you, things which you are now currently aware of, but which you previously weren't, basically. And trying to get the right perspective is quite important and quite, essential there. Anticipation of the future, okay? Effort, determination, willpower. But don't put too much stress upon your shoulders. You've got a lot of things to deal with, yes, but if you put too much stress upon your shoulders, you're going to lose that rationality and ability to be able to think your way through a situation. You are the kind of individual who can get stressed and can find stress difficult, so you need to find more coping mechanisms as how to deal with the stress, so you don't have to worry about that as a specific coping mechanism in the future. Okay, moving on into the future itself, nice and bland. I think that's good, that's positive. There's no real sense of, total destruction or difficulties or major drama there. Yeah, short-term future still very driven, very passion-driven. I think that's more overlapping with your work side of things, but it does have this feeling of celebration not too far down the line. Someone near you or around you is about to have some kind of opportunity for party or celebration, which you're going to somehow participate in and enjoy. Also, I believe that your organisational skills are going to come to the fore in a not too distant future, and that will become useful for you too. Okay, Kevin is interested in two lovely ladies, girl number 1 and girl number 2. So let's have a quick look and see what kind of energies are coming through with girl number 1 and girl number 2, and see whether you've got any romantic directions as a result of these individuals entering into your life, and of course being good and beneficial and positive and all the rest of that kind of cool stuff. Let's have a quick look. Alright, here it goes. Right, okay. Interesting messages here. Those are your signs for number 1, and those are your signs for number 2. What do you notice is similar about them? Nearly everything. They are both very practical thinkers. Alright? They both are concerned with financial survival. Girl number 2, less than girl number 1. Girl number 1 wants many more important things to happen in their life first before they settle down. And girl number 2 sees the material as being important, but doesn't worry about that quite as much. I would say that girl number 2 is showing more signs of being beneficial towards yourself, and maybe you should focus some of your communication efforts towards her, because that's essentially not looking quite as difficult. I think you'll be able to basically try and get somewhere there. I mean, essentially they're both looking quite positive. There's reasons why we've got signs of passion on both sides of things, okay? And that's because there's some passion there which could actually start overspilling into your life itself. So essentially it's an interesting combination. It doesn't look too bad at all. One of these two may actually make the grade. Kakimuki78, is that the right pronunciation for your login name? Okay, well let's have a quick look and see what the reading says for you. A 6-month chronological spread focusing in on love and career. I'm sure we can do that for you. Now bear with me a second, please. Here we go. You also asked, what is the purpose of your life? Well, let's start from that side of things first now, shall we? Okay. You already have a very strong purpose to your life. There is always already some envy which other people have towards you because of your knowledge, because of the way your life has gone. The way I can best illustrate this is because it's through a story which I can give you from my own life. A friend of mine once said, like, Nick, you know, you've lived a very varied life. You're a very lucky man. And I look back over my life and the fact I've got like no money and all the rest of that, and I thought to myself, how can I be lucky? But of course I realised there was a wealth in the things I already knew. And that's what this reading is telling me. Use your knowledge and create change for yourself and for other people. You are a guiding light. You're someone who can instruct and can guide and can help. And those are the signs I've got associated with you there, the Judgment and the Death card. Speaking about transformation, you're currently sort of in the pupae stage. You will soon emerge into someone who can take control. And also the fact that other people envy you and envy you terribly. Be aware of that, okay? Now, the progression that I've got as far as the rest of your life is concerned, financially speaking, I don't think you've got too much in the way of worries, because there is a new direction in which you'll again be following the same message of the cards which are signifying your character there, okay? You know, digging deeper into yourself and working out where you want to go. For some reason I got the image of something to do with photography or visual art of some description, which appears to be coming through in quite a big and quite a powerful way there, as far as your longer term career is concerned. Consulting with people about the kind of images that they want themselves to have somehow would be a part and parcel of where you'll be going in the future, okay? Romantically speaking, yes, we've got some signs there suggesting, you know, your proverbial heart being pierced, but also in a way which will be bringing about something of a stable and interesting nature with a curious dynamic with someone who has a very high degree of sensitivity associated with them as well, okay? Possibly also very technologically orientated. That's the way I'm seeing their character emerging. Maybe there'll be a complementary energy between yourself and them there, okay? It looks like there will be a relationship developing for you within 6 months. But I think what you need to do is think about the assets that you've already got, rather than necessarily the assets that you would like to have in your life. And try and turn what you've already got into something which is a little more golden and a little more important. And again, I think it's something which you can more than achieve. So don't be too worried about that. Just carry on looking forward to the future and realising that there is still a lot of good things which you can already bring into the world. So be calm, content and happy about that. Okay, Terry R. You've got a curious question, haven't you? Whether you should stay or whether you should go from your job. Well, obviously I'm not here to, tell you whether you should or whether you shouldn't. That'll of course be your final decision, not mine. But we'll have a quick look and we can see what the reading says. We can just basically take it from there, basically, can't we? And remember, you are the final decision maker here, not myself. I just wanted to make that ultimately, clear for you there, okay? Let's have a quick look and see what the reading says. Do we have signs of change and transformation, or do we have signs of being bound to where you are? Bear with me a second, please. If you do stay where you are, you will be respected for what you've already achieved, and you will be given extra opportunities and responsibilities with the passage of time, because you are already loved where you are now. Even though you're not terribly happy with it, it's not necessarily fulfilling all of your requirements, okay? The feeling there is that, yes, there are some benefits which could happen from you staying where you are at the moment. So I think you need to reassess where the business is going, maybe have a look at their financial statements and all the rest of that to see whether that actually fits in with your longer term goals, so on and so forth. If you can do that, I think that would be a good bit of useful research, and also carry on being friendly with everyone else around you. Now, if you were to move on, I'm not really seeing a problem there, but I do feel that there'll be a little more in the way of instability. You may enjoy it more, but I think there'll be a little more in the way of instability there, and that's something else you've got to bear in mind as well. Alright, and I don't think you necessarily want to have too much in the way of instability, especially economic instability, within this particular era. Choose your next role with great care to avoid the possibility of instability. But essentially, if you did stay, I think you'd be okay. If you were to move on, I think you'd do really rather well as well. But I think that I personally would err towards staying where you are and trying your hardest to impress everybody, even more than you've already done, which sounds like a tall order, I know, but I feel that staying where you are could possibly be a good thing. Okay, we got someone called John B. Did you have a sloop named after you at all? Just joking with you there, don't take it too personally, alright? So, John, you're interested in your love life, you're already with someone, you want to make sure it's going to work out okay in the long-term future. You've already told me a bit about the story, and I was, well, let's have a quick look and see what the reading says. All I can do is be direct with you and tell you what the reading says, and that's all I can do, basically, okay? But I've already got my suspicions, and I hope that those don't come through in the reading itself. Let's have a quick look. Right, you do have a fight on your hands. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Alright, because you're dealing with someone who's basically caught between choices as the Lover's card. Have a look at the imagery there, okay? And think about what that means. Is that just about rescuing, or is it about choices? Is it about following desires, or is it about moving further forward? This is an individual that you're with who's struggling between following what her heart is telling her to do, which is to connect with someone who's not right for her, or indeed to connect with yourself. So that's why you've got a fight on your hands there. That's why it's a difficult connection. This individual you're dealing with in this relationship is someone who is really tortured between, where you are up there and where her feelings are trying to take her. But the feelings that we have, they're not necessarily representative of true love, and they can be confused with true love, okay? I had a situation a while ago in which I felt this longing to be with this one particular lady, okay? And as it turned out, she'd already got married and settled down quite a while ago, so essentially, that actually couldn't quite work out according to plan. So I had to reassess as to why I had this particular loving feeling. And it turned out that was because, I myself have felt a bit of loneliness during that particular time in my life. Now, essentially, I think that's what she's been going through. Maybe a bit of misunderstanding, misinterpretation, and all of that's got a bit confused emotionally speaking. And that's not really helping her to think clearly about the relationship between herself and yourself. Now, that's one reason why we got very strong communication signs coming through for the force between the two of you, as well as for the signs on your side of things, because your need now is to literally sacrifice or to give up extra time and extra effort to be able to show her and to explain to her that she's just being pulled by some deep down desire inside her, which is not doing her all that much good. I tend to provide a bit of a biblical analogy here. There's always two spirits in the universe, aren't they? And at the end of times or whenever, they're supposed to have a bit of a fight. Okay? And the good one represents the individual getting basically everything that they really, really want in life, namely happiness, stability, contentment, someone who's always there for them, a good career, stability, being able to feed themselves, and so on and so forth. And the other one doesn't, okay? It sort of represents a bit of pleasure, okay? Something just, you know, that sort of duality between happiness and pleasure. Okay, pleasures never last, but happiness can. And you've got to be able to point out that moving towards happiness and moving away from this pleasure urge is probably what she really needs to do at the moment, just to make sure that she can actually be happy. Because otherwise, if you can't get that clear to her, basically you haven't got a relationship there. Alright, you've got to really be brave. And especially during your short-term future, you've really got to use your communication to the extent whereby you can show her that that happiness is really there. Okay, what a bit of a rosy cross message there. Okay, showing the love coming through the pain. She's going through a combination of pains, which is going through an illusionary form of love understanding, which she needs to work through to try and make sure things can work out according to plan. And for things to work out according to plan, you need to be the one to direct the whole relationship further forward, and you need to be really brave about that. Do I think you can do it? I'm not sure. I'm going to be honest with you there, I'm not sure. But I'd say it'd be worthwhile giving it a go and seeing basically how far you can take it. Henry K. Getting a bit of a sausage fest this time, aren't we? Plenty of male inquirers. This one is quite a simple career reading based on one particular question. Namely, is a good job going to come around the corner? Considering, you know, everything I see on the news every single day about, you know, the high unemployment figures, you know, I do worry when people ask me these questions. But all I can do is basically just tell you what I can see, and we'll take it from there, basically, shall we? And I'll be totally honest with you, because that's what I am, really. You know, I'm quite a no BS individual, if you get my drift. I'm not very controversial. I try my hardest under some circumstances to try and avoid bad things, you know, bad controversy. But, you know, when I'm doing this work, I try and be nice and direct and nice and true, okay? Right. Okay. Not looking too bad. There is a bit of a sense of there being an opportunity there. Very, very strong message of victory associated with that one. Especially with the way in which the artwork expresses the Ace of Coins there. I'm sure you can see that certain connection to signs relating to empire and all that kind of stuff. So essentially it feels quite interesting there. More earth signs relating to stability and prosperity there, and a sense of also healing or healing a situation. Did you have any financial problems? Did you go through bankruptcy maybe? Alright, the feelings also there being reiterated on the financial side of things. Tons of financial signs coming through within this one particular reading without a shadow of a doubt. So essentially there's more things on the horizon for you as far as your career is concerned. Now, more signs relating to drive, passion and determination, and I think that's a way of saying don't let yourself be distracted. Okay, keep yourself focused on basically where your needs really lie and what you wish to be able to achieve for yourself. And then basically I think that, you know, you are going to be able to make it. We've also got a sense of things reaching completion and wholeness there, which is pretty positive. I would say that within 2 months at the outside you'll probably find yourself in a new job, and it may seem a bit of a culture shock, but you're going to be able to get into it and do rather well at it. So again, it's not a question of worrying, it's a question of just being, you know, being active, keeping focused and not allowing distractions from getting in your way. Right, just do one more for today and see basically what's coming through there. Okay, now we've got someone who calls himself Jude. Any relation to the Beatles song, was that? People sometimes choose their aliases based upon things that they know and they like. This is a relationship inquiry. Jude has been married for a fair few years, and things are getting a bit rocky. I want to see whether things start working out okay again. Again, you've got some challenges here. A bit of intrusion from other people. This is someone who's receiving a lot of negative messages. Alright, negative messages from family and from friends. It's all getting in the way, getting on top of them. They're finding it difficult to cope. They don't quite know what to believe about life or their relationships, and so that's why they're getting a bit childlike. But there is still a bit of a sense of extra wisdom, as it were, someone like divine revelation coming through, which is going to help them to achieve an awful lot more as far as the relationship with yourself is concerned. So yeah, I think that they will start to, within 3 months from now, start to develop more of a down-to-earth perspective. Until you're there, it's going to be more conflict. I mean, I don't quite know why, but, you know, the Lovers card has turned up again. and this time it's talking about choice and the choice of good responsibility and moving away from an immature mindset towards a more mature mindset. So that's what I think is happening there. It looks like this is an individual who's gone through a crisis of some description, personal crisis, crisis of identity, or the way in which they see the world has basically been sort of like rocked somehow. Yes, there's a feeling of instability there, and I feel that feeling of instability would have to go in order for them to be totally happy again. But essentially, that feeling of happiness is coming through there. You really do love this person seriously, but you love someone who's basically got a few issues and is slightly mad, really. So you'll have to wait and watch for the healing to occur. Carry on pointing out positive messages and allow survival to basically take its toll, and this person will start to get a bit of wisdom within 3 months, I believe. That's the way it's looking from my point of view. Obviously, give me a bit of feedback, get straight on the phone and let me know how things are going. Alright. That'll be the last tarot reading of today. As is traditional, if you want to have a reading for yourself, send it through via private message by email to nickdutchtarot@gmail.com, and I'll be delighted to add you to the rota. Don't forget, Christmas and New Year is coming up. If you want to have a look at what's coming through for you for the New Year's period, you can either have it in the tarot show here under an anonymous name, or you can get live on the telephone or internet chat with myself. All links and information will be down there, and I'll of course look forward to helping you in that way as well. Alright, what else can I say? Well, obviously, hope you've had a wonderful time watching the show. Bid you all good fortune and God bless. Keep your requests coming in. Repeat requests. If you had a request recently, you can have another one if you want. That's not really a serious issue, and I'll definitely look forward to speaking to you again very, very soon.